Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello.
And folks, we promised it to you over here, and we're delivering. This is the Game 3 from the SD Red Storm 44 Dive-In Tournament between familiar faces that we saw over here on Tuesday. But just in case you forgot who they were, Rang, who are we talking about?
On left-hand side in blue, we have TheGrahamSlam playing 16th Panzer with a Vanguard income, yes?
Jogi. No, he's a Jogi, dude.
Juggy. Oh, I'm completely wrong. My bad. On the right-hand side in the red, we have the 10th Guard Tank Corps playing, well, HerrRobert playing that, with a balanced income.
Yes, this is a balanced income.
Yes. Thank you.
Happy to help out.
This is like a game show. I'm trying to guess the numbers here.
Well, exactly. The points are right today. But we're on Orsha East over here. Of course, you can always tell about that with a little kind of gingerbread man doing breakdancing, kind of like the Egyptian thing going on here. But HerrRobert rocking the potential Tigers over here in Phase B. Super excited for that. But what's the matchup like? How do we expect to see this between, 16th and their new Russian opponents?
It should be a pretty heavy tank matchup. I mean, 16th is the King Tiger division, and in the smart they do not skimp out on King Tigers. As we see, Graham has 4 cards of them with a total of 6 King Tigers available. But only 1 Panther tank in his deck, and mainly Panzer 4, so it should be interesting. It is a pretty deadly map for heavy tanks, just due to how close range a lot of it is. So, yeah, HerrRobert is pushing pretty heavily into the central position, getting a very good initial push here if it was BA-64s providing some machine gun support. But at the same time, Graham is doing pretty good up north here. Some 222s.
Well, the question is, will the 222s get taken out super quickly by the 45? Or...
Does not seem so. I think the 45 can't even see him.
But he should be able to. There we go.
It's so sneaky. There we go. You really need reconnaissance, yeah, I think, for the 45 to get the better angle, or the better shot onto those 222s. But anyway, the central position is completely collapsed already for Graham, and that's not a good sign, because you need to get on that hill if you want a good chance in this map.
Don't worry, the Stuka has got it under control. And here he's going to come diving on in, and since there's really no immediate anti-air threat, he should be okay, but... yeah, good freaking luck. I think there might be almost every single one of HerrRobert's early tanks is on this central position. What's that? 1, 2, 3. You got 6 tanks there? Absolutely absurd. Otherwise, though, I mean, looking at the edges in the other regions, a little bit less positive. Not incredibly so, but still just moderately less positive here.
Yeah, Robert is trying to push a little bit in the 7th central position with some more. They're really utilizing a lot of his reconnaissance early on. I mean, all his recon is just recon vehicles, so going pretty aggressive in that regard. He's having to fight this 1 Panzer 4, which is giving him a little bit of grief.
I'm sorry, I was watching the Pioneer, the Superior, in the north, each of them throwing their respective charges at each other. It was just kind of beautiful. It was like, you know that moment when you watch like flowers fly through the air? Well, the flowers of death just soaring back and forth here instead, so...
Flowers of high explosives.
Exactly. And the river Incarnadine, just red going in every single direction. I would be surprised to see a sustained push over here to retake this central position.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's bringing in some... I can't even pronounce that. I think the Japanzer means that, yeah, because not all the Panzer Grenadiers are motorized and half-tracks, only some of them are. So I think that's, like, showcase that they're specifically designed to be in the half-tracks, or once again, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. I know Jack.
I don't know. We'll find out together here. I'm sure there's been another awesome label going along with this. And that P4, are you talking about Reichman over here in that south central position? And I'm just really overdoing the accent, so please don't yell at me. He's just saying, oh, recon? Well, I see you. And he blows apart 2 recon cars pretty darn quickly.
Yeah, holy crap, he pretty much held off that entire push by himself. That's a good little Panzer for you.
which is weird to see.
I know. Isn't it rare to see Panzer IVs actually be useful and not just get one shot 2 kilometers by 20 T-34 76s, which is an example I use all the time in regards to bad SC2 base mechanics, T-34 spam. Well, it's always just going to be 20 T-34s every time.
I think they got
no more, no less.
They got an upgun, I think, in terms of their overall power. I think they're... Yeah, they weren't 105 in the base game, are they? Jeez, it's been like 2 weeks and I can't remember their penetration values already. I don't know.
They usually got like a little bit of extra veterancy, the 76 models, which helps out in close range, but once again, with a lot of the lower caliber guns only having 1.6 kilometer range, it means that you just cannot charge them across an open field, because if you're fighting against Germans and they have Pak 40 style guns or 88s, they're gonna have 400 meters to blow you up before you can shoot back.
Well, in the meantime, we are going to probably see the 45mm take out badly damaged optics on the P4. I was waiting to see an actual kill happen here. He's only at the APCRs.
Well, yeah, he's completely out of regular AP. He only has 5 AP cells in that 45mm.
But, like...
I don't know if that's a bug. It has to be a bug.
It probably is a bug, but I would argue that it reflects accurately. And I'm probably wrong on this. The M42, I think, was a American import, wasn't it?
No, it's a Russian gun.
It was a Russian gun? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's complete Russian.
I was thinking that it would be one of those things that maybe there's ammunition shortage, they weren't getting it in because of the lease, but I didn't realize it was a Russian gun. I'm not sure what I was thinking of.
Okay, my theory for it being all the high explosive cells is that by this point in the war they realized that it just didn't have good armor penetration, so they were just using them in anti-infantry role, which I would find interesting because it is only 45mm, which is not the best caliber for lobbing high explosives at long range. But once again, as I'm gonna say a lot, if there's mods, let me know in my comments below, guys. I know nothing.
Well, that is true. He is certainly like Jon Snow. But several, to put it mildly, several T-34s are going along the southern part of this ridge, basically saying, we've had it with you stinking little P4, and watching one barrage are going to kill this poor brave soul. Yep. Yeah.
This would be a pretty good push here from HerrRobert. If he manages to push into the hill, it's going to be nice and short range for the T-34s to take advantage of. And even, no, not even, he can shoot up north into this, current push here if the 2-5 runs before they can crest the hill. So Graham really needs to get some AT over here to try and deal with it. Pretty scary blob of T-34s.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a proper tank push here. We got a bunch of cheap T-34s, a commander run, we have a outbound run, and even a recon run. So he's got the, the full spectrum of T-34 firepower here.
Well, it's something that you and I talked about just before we started kind of casting this one. If you looked at the deck over here for both Robert as well as Graham, you would think they would have similar income curves. Because we're looking at the way the decks are set up, there's going to be a lot more kind of cards over here invested in A. And this is something that I'm not as familiar with because I'm not sure how the decks have been modified in terms of availability. But Graham being a Juggernaut over here, yes, it definitely makes sense if you're going to have him be using those Tigers to, great and numerous effect, which I would not be surprised at. But
yeah,
it's just weird to see as much investment as he made over here in A. 4, 3, 3. Yeah, I mean, all of his recons in A. He's got most of his tanks over here in just terms of raw number of tanks in A. So
maybe he's just trying to bite early on, hold out through B phase, and then scurry through the rest of T phase with enough German heavy tanks to break down every bridge that they look at.
But see, that's the kind of thing, is that if you're... Heavy tanks are there to break a defense. They're not there to be like, aha, yes, well, I'm holding this territory, and now you're going to have to come at me. Like, it's kind of hard to be stealthy.
They're kind of good at that.
Yeah, and I guess we saw a little bit of that on Tuesday, but I guess my point is that you have a Tiger and you stick it up front so everything focuses on that and everything else behind it starts firing.
No, that's true. That's true.
That's the entire point of a Panzer Wedge. So, the 16th Panzer kind of always feels to me like it should be a cavalry division that just wasn't quite on the fastest horse.
Yeah, the one danger of using heavy tanks in this mod is, here's a tip, guys. Do not just leave your Tiger tank, Panther tank, insert just heavy tank out in the open. It will get artilleried, it will get airplaned, and it will die. Because they're not as durable from high explosives compared to the base game. You actually want to keep them hidden, and then when the enemy pushes, you go, haha, I have my trap card. It's a Panther.
That's true. That's very true, Kaiba.
Yeah.
And I've now exhausted all of the knowledge of that show with that single reference. No, I have one more. I play Pot of Greed in face down position. I draw 2 cards.
I end my turn.
Yes, and I must thank my girlfriend's brother for helping me understand even that joke as well. Anyway, we are past the 11-minute mark. It is 14:10 in favor of HerrRobert, but like we said, don't count out the 16th Panzer here. I mean, it's great that Robert's able to get all of this early investment, but T-34 spam, he's really going to be leaning heavily on those IS-2s later on.
Yeah, he only has that single IS-2, to be fair. And the IS-2 is actually very interesting in this mod because it actually has... They actually gave it a realistic reload of only 1 to 2 rounds a minute. But of course, it's a big gun, so if it hits, the thing dies usually. But I think for Robert, his best bet is really to push down south. And
Holy Moses!
Moses! Oh, well, there goes the tanks. Once again, airplanes are really scary in this mod.
Yep.
Damn, that was... Yeah, don't blow up your tanks as well, another good tip. But anyway, what I was saying is that I think Robert's best bet is really to continue his push down south, as closer range with the T-34s and his other vehicles, he should be able to fight pretty well against anything. Yeah, the old Robert, or Graham, is bringing up some Panzer Grenadiers to finish it off and reinforce southern side, as well as his one and only Panther in the center.
Actually, I just realized what the whole little satchel charges soaring back and forth through the air kind of reminds me of. Remember that scene in Crimson Tide where Denzel Washington's trying to describe what happens if they launch nukes at the wrong time?
Oh!
And our nukes pass each other in the air. What happens? Nuclear war. Nuclear holocaust. Like, I don't know. Anyway, returning to this particular war, there's a P4 kind of cluster with a with a Panther in there as well.
Yeah. P4 of a P5.
Yeah. Not exactly the type of bingo you want to be on the receiving end of if you are that anti-tank gun.
Yeah, those 45 mils are a little bit outclassed in this scenario here, and this allowed Graham to push back his T-34 blob, and he really does need to regain some of his territory in the southern position, because he's not doing too well in terms... Well, right now it's only 13-11, but he has a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, but let's be fair. Excuse me. There are 2 superior squads in... What's that a little further south? A Strokey squad. And outside of that, he's got to push back 2 anti-tank guns and some other tanks that can't even scratch his Panther. So...
Well, to be fair, when there's the Panther, you can always just bring your own Panther, and that's what Robert is doing.
Did you mean Tiger? Oh no, oh my gosh, you're absolutely
Panther,
right, yeah.
Yeah. You have to be the Panther to fight the Panther.
Got loaded out of the inner wild child, I get you. Worth also mentioning in the meantime, too, there's been a resurgent push up to the north, which actually I really like. This is a really great call by HerrRobert to say, oh, you're focusing all your heavy stuff in the south. Oh, well, I have more T-34s. Oh, I'm sorry, did I forget to mention that?
Oh, I'm sorry I have these armored tanks nearby, but I really don't want to leave, so could you kindly vacate the forest? Thank you. But yeah, it should go pretty well. I mean, I don't think a lot of these... Oh, the Recon Panzer Grenadiers are Panzerfaust, and there's the other Panzerfaust Panzer Grenadier squad coming in, so... I don't know, I think on C-34s could use a little bit more infantry support, but at the same time, you should be able to knock out a few things before they go kaboom.
They have the potential to, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know that they will.
Yeah, Optimus Cheeky's a little bit outnumbered in that forest fight. He definitely needs, he really needs some more infantry. And that's where he's starting to bring in some tank destiny key. But this is a very good push here from HerrRobert, trying to, stay off that southern push which is coming his way. And once again, up north, a bit more claustrophobic for him, and that's really worthwhile and ideal for his division.
Indeed. In the center position, in the meantime, the Soviet tanks have very wisely were pulled back to that reverse slope position on the eastern side of that ridge. And they are probably going to get forced back even more, as even more P4s are being rushed towards that point of contact. Do you think that what we're about to see is TheGrahamSlam taking the southern approach and then pivoting and turning north? Or is he just going to continue to kind of lock down the southern approach?
I would say south side, because then he could take advantage of long-range anti-tank firepower. If Graham can get his Panther or other heavy tanks onto that hill where the T-34s previously were, I think it's pretty much secure the southern side for him. He does have to deal with an enemy Panther, though, which will prove to be a pain in the ass. I mean, both sides only have a single Panther, so it's really going to come down to the best Panther winning.
Yeah, but I imagine, though, as we get into B phase, this is the first of the potential KTs that we will see on the field.
Yeah. Definitely a KT down south would be, be a scary thing. But once again, the King Tiger's bloody expensive mod. The Commander one in B phase at 227 points. And he's only making 122 points, so that's going to be 2 minutes of saving if he wants to bring in fat catties.
But you know what? Not for nothing, but he's been surprisingly economic with his material thus far.
Yeah, he hasn't really been throwing away too much. Especially down south, like, his infantry is mostly still alive. He's trying to find where the rest of his Russian infantry is. So HerrRobert is moving in some T-34s down south. This could actually make a pretty good push here temporarily, maybe capture that far southern flag.
Well, I'll tell you what also will happen. If you look to the north, that HerrRobert's infantry push, yeah, that's pretty much... I'm not going to say stillborn. That's completely gone.
Yeah, the Panzer Grenadiers managed to capture tank keys out in the open, and when you have two MG42s, you can make a lot of people disappear.
No, but you can even make more people disappear if you have a Stuka coming down and throwing several hundred kilos of bombs at them too.
Two. Now the HerrRobert T-34s, they can't really do much unless they go inside, and if they go inside, they get Panzerfausted, so not a good position for them.
Okay, now...
Oh, the Panther got onto the hill?
Yes, and
this really could be it.
Well, he's asserting himself. He is asserting himself with some dominance there.
Yeah. I'd love to see a 45mm. The 45mm has no AP shells, so he is utterly useless.
And the Stuka is doing everything you do in IL-2 when you have absolutely nothing to do. He's just strafing ground targets with a 20mm cannon.
Shoot me so I can respawn.
Now, wow. That is a gutsy T-34. Oh yes, I'm going to go and take you out by firing my pathetic little 76 cannon at you.
Yeah, that Panther's... I don't think T-34s really have a chance in hell in blowing up that Panther. Might get a good few criticals, and maybe the Katusha might be enough. It's very danger close, but...
Yeah, I think he's done more damage to his own troops.
Yeah, he did. That's also kind of the downside of shooting onto a hill like that. The slope kind of captures a little bit of more rockets, it seems.
You mean ballistics actually happen?
Geography. Yeah, ballistics actually happen. It's kind of weird.
How dare they?
How dare ballistics exist?
Oh, PE2, not to be outdone, the PE2's coming in with his own rockets. And this probably should be more than enough. I mean, come on. Absurd amount of material. No, it's not.
Barely enough. But I think the Panther's pretty low in HP. Just one more rocket run might be enough to knock out the bugger.
But alright.
This is pretty, like, it feels neck on neck. Even though HerrRobert is doing a fantastic job of keeping up the pressure all over the map, I feel like Graham is just so close to getting some sort of major breakthrough somewhere, some, German Wunderwaffen, heavy armor nonsense, he might be able to make something happen. Because up north, he just completely lost that forest. There's too much tank keys in there to really do anything about it.
True, but he's also got that 105 mil coming on down here in that central position.
Oh, yeah.
And that place, which previously was just rife with communist activity, not looking so communist anymore.
Not indeed. Or at the same time, Graham doesn't really have much to push onto that hill once the artillery is dropped. He has like a machine gun team and a few Panzer Grenadiers. If he had like a few more Panzer Grenadiers and a tank or two, I think he could capture that central part of the hill. And there's 4 flags on that hill. It's a very luxurious position that could really secure him the victory if he manages to capture it. Oh, first King Tiger's coming out.
Yeah, it's down to the southwest. Yeah.
Yeah, just look at the size of that lad, Carney. It's an absolute unit. It's like 80 tons of steel of German variety.
You know, Rang, I won't lie to you. I just had a flash of like Richard Ayoade for you. You know, the British kind of stand-up comic. I don't know why, but making me feel like that for a second.
You're welcome.
Yep. Motorized pioneers, though. 5 of them coming over here into the center. And yeah, the
They're
barrage.
motorized.
Oh, they're very much motorized. And a second barrage just to kind of make sure that those guys that were in that area are keeping their heads down. Regrettably, they may not be there by the time the Su-85s come in.
Yeah, the first barrage was just a warning shot.
It's very, very genteel of them.
Oh, Junkers up north. This might get some good hit. Oh, never mind. Anti-aircraft fire is scary as usual.
Yeah, when you said Junkers, I was like, yep, it's a Junker, but you're absolutely right at the same time, too.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes anti-air can get pretty lucky and just annihilate your plane in a few shots.
Now, I'm fascinated to see these Su-85s have been brought into the south. We're just kind of hanging on out. And, you know, there's something about sending in these assault guns in pairs that just reflects that actual tactical doctrine, which I love. And I can't help but feel that they are still relatively inflexible to the point that you just almost have to put them in pairs. Just
yeah,
you can't keep them by themselves. Yeah, exactly.
And they're like pretty, they're pretty cheap at only 70 points, and with HerrRobert making 140 points in B phase, it's perfect income to buy too. And King Tiger's coming online here, and just, I mean, HerrRobert's gonna need to start flinging a lot of high explosive or smoke in that direction to try and deal with that nasty bastard. I mean, 195 millimeters of penetration at 2 kilometers is that's a lot of penetration.
That's choice.
Who do I want to blow up today? The Panther. I want him to die.
No, an Alderaan, but they're peaceful people. They don't have any weapons.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, once again, also King Tiger, you have to be very good in positioning it, because if you just charge up, it will get flanked and it will die. Even at close, I think at closer range, your S-85s have a. I don't think I can really penetrate it frontally, but you can probably get like a critical hit or two.
Oh no, I'm sure.
Oh, you got APCR shells. Maybe I think APCR shells at close range are pretty nasty stuff.
Pioneers, in the meantime, are able to get into that town, making it a 14-10 over here against Yan Soviets. But it's one of those things. They're gaining ground, but it's won at a terrible, terrible cost.
Yeah. There's. If Graham can keep up his push in the center, that's going to be a lot of flags under his control. And there's really not a whole lot else there. 1H35 is going to be a pain, as Graham doesn't have any tanks nearby to deal with it. Yeah, we'll have to see how it develops. And up north, he is actually managing to retake the forest position with just a boatload of Panzer Grenadiers. So the tank Desnukis are holding out in a few pockets.
But it's kind of what you expect, though, too. Like, that's not anything that's going to be too surprising overall.
Except for the Panzer Grenadiers who encounter him.
That is true.
Yeah. Oh god, there's a bunch of angry Russians with submachine guns behind this bush.
You know,
That's Brr of the PPSH, not the 42, by the way.
Oh,
In case
okay.
anyone got confused. There's very different Brrs.
there's so much tracer fire going on in every single direction that I'm not even sure where to look. I'm sure people who are looking at my video over here going, just getting like flashbacks to some earlier videos when we were less talented at this.
We gotten better over the years, I would say.
I would hope so at this point. Now there's two brave Soviets holding this town really, and it ain't the Motor Superi and the take with this on Niki. Is his guard squad and this BA-64, because right now, while that frag, Pioneer charge is more than enough to be quite effective, he's still just barely out of range to really be truly effective at both squads. And I don't know... Yeah, we see the Stuka trying to go and reduce that, so that's probably the best call he can have under the circumstances. Problem is that I'm pretty sure, he's still in 37 mil range.
I really do like how just a recon armored car with a machine gun actually can do something now. I mean, it's keeping that motorized Pioneer suppressed. It's not getting many kills, but you can actually suppress stuff with like a single machine gun vehicle, and I think a Stuka got very suppressed in the air up here.
Yep, depressed, oppressed, and then pressed against the ground. You're absolutely right.
But talking about your point earlier about being all over the map, like this is... I'm really loving this matchup so far because both sides, they're not just tunnel visioning on a single point of the map. They're playing the entirety of it. Regime pushes all over the bloody place, really, which is how, top tier players play the game. You don't just tunnel vision on a single contested point. You try to, press and feel where the enemies recoil over, because if you just tunnel vision, you usually lose unless you have enough of, an unstoppable force to break through anything. But that's pretty hard to get that unstoppable force rolling.
Well, we aren't to phase C just yet, but when that happens, I think it's one of those things you have to be very, very concerned for HerrRobert's kind of overall standing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the King Tigers and heavy tanks, or really King Tigers, are going to be a huge pain in the ass. Robert does have those PE2s, and also some... I don't know how well napalm planes really do against tanks. I'm guessing not much, but I think the Katyushas and those planes are going to be pretty important with dealing with said heavy tanks. He doesn't really have any off-map artillery of his own, so yeah, I think it's going to be tough for him. He does have like 2 IS-2s available to him, but it's not really a fair fight against potential 6 Tigers.
I mean, if you bring in the other 2 Tigers, I mean, that's a little bit better, the recon Tigers that he's got. And by the way, with the death of that BA-64, that guard is either going to die or he's going to surrender. Either way, that position is going to fall.
Yeah. But Robert is still holding on to 2 of the flags on the hill, so he's not completely lost the position. He's doing that with a pretty scratched defense. I mean, just looking at the amount of stuff that he has here, it's not a lot. He has really just 5 currently on the major positions of that hill, while Graham is bringing some more reinforcements, but slow progress for him.
Yeah, but that's kind of the consequence of attacking versus defending. I mean, this is something that goes back as old as, the Lanchester... Oh my gosh, can't even think of... Lanchester laws? No. Winchester, whatever.
I think it's Lanchester laws, with like...
The idea of
the
firepower?
Your enemy by so much, so you don't take casualties.
Yes, I mean, this is very much one of those things... Well, yeah, I mean, and to attack any position, you have to have a 3-to-1 advantage. And not for nothing, if you're not worried about, strictly speaking, the, types of troops that are here, Graham is trying to mask that 3-to-1 advantage. And that was happening up to the north as well when HerrRobert went west. Mm-hmm. So what I do love about this, too, is that we're seeing these groupings of forces that are saying, okay, cool. So we are able to mass forces here. Do we have a local superiority? Great. Attack. If we don't have a local superiority, okay, contain, hold still, we'll wait a little bit to get some more troops. Like right now, you'll see there's, 8 tanks either on that hill or coming up to it pretty darn quick, even more than that. Assault guns, tanks, the Tiger Razvedka, everything there is just begging for a new resurgent push over here, moving east to west across this hillside.
Yeah, and I feel like with these resurgent tank push, Robert might be able to take back that hill. We are seeing the King Tiger being brought in, but I don't. I mean, it's a scary tank, of course, but in a more closer range engagement like that, it's not as much of the king of the battlefield. And it is. I mean, the one down south is.
Quite dead.
He's died?
Yep.
High explosives?
I believe it was high explosives, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the danger of sitting out in the open.
But 14-10 against Graham now, as we are definitely into Phase C by now.
But
And,
I don't know, it still feels like this could be anyone's match. I mean, HerrRobert is once again got the flag advantage and is pushing very hard into a central position. I don't feel like Graham's gonna be able to hold back his resurgent Soviet push, and he hasn't really managed to make too much happen down south here. Robert just has enough of a defense, especially just the S-85s behind that hill to really deter anything from coming around.
well, and that's the thing too, isn't it? Is that even if you bring this King Tiger in, and I'm looking at this from the Soviet side, how do I defend against this? Well, I do exactly what's already being done by HerrRobert. You are keeping eyes on that western approach. Who cares if you lose a couple dozen infantry? You've got the point advantage right now, and now it's 15-9. Good luck.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Graham anymore. He's bringing in a Stuka to try and bomb that Tiger. Really get the bombs off, yo.
No! Wow!
That Cobra does not mess about with its firepower, man.
But he took out 3 Superiors, so that's fine. I'm also surprised
the off-map.
The off-map is not quite as devastating as I expected it would be. I suppose being in the town has a lot to do with it. But regardless... yeah, but my eyes are fixed on this potential King Tiger just going up against the world kind of thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be... He's gonna face a lot of critical hits, I think, with all those T-34s and, you know, an enemy Tiger as well to try and fight him. Now, of course, he's not gonna go over the edge, because that would be kind of suicidal. Yeah, especially if his S-35's being brought in. I think if his King Tiger goes down, that will pretty much be it for Graham. I mean, no, he has another King Tiger being brought in, so maybe he's just trying to get fire superiority advantage, having 2 King Tigers against the road.
Well, and that's the question, isn't it? If there's this King Tiger push in the center, or Tiger King if you prefer, there will be nothing to oppose them. However, like you said, they go down, and that's pretty much game. You can't get anything else in there. Even from a troops perspective, he's got 12 Grenadiers and a couple off-map Panzers, and that's it. He's got nothing else.
Yeah, it's not really looking good for him. Robert just has enough fire superiority. That's bloody hell, I'm trying to say. Fire superiority, especially on the hill position at short range, where his tanks are still pretty deadly, and he has a defensive position with the infantry in the town. It's looking pretty good for him, and yeah, I feel like, yeah, Graham is just throwing everything in the kitchen sink into just one final push into the center, which does make sense, because in terms of bang for buck, you capture his flags, they're pretty close together, you can do pretty well. He's also trying to make pushes happen in the forest still, but Robert is holding on to that pretty well.
That's not too surprising. I mean, geez, if you look at the amount of firepower that gets poured out, yeah, T-34 doesn't have the same 3 machine guns as you expect from the Sherman, but you don't need that when you have 3 times as many T-34s as you have Shermans.
Yeah.
So, there's that. Now, one other thing too, we're getting actually a commander P4 coming on in, as well as an off-map with that 15 centimeter artillery. Now,
he's only got 3 minutes to use this.
Exactly, and that's the thing, is that if he's able to pull this out, it's the greatest artillery strike of all time.
Yeah, but I know HerrRobert has all his tanks pretty well spread out here. If this match ends, he better goddamn move his tanks over the edge and do one final hurrah charge.
Well,
I just want to see the bloodbath.
He's got a P4 working the northern edge of this entire tank. front,
yeah.
let's say. Already has 2 kills to his name.
Cheekies. Yeah, some cheekies gonna flank it, and they have AT grenades. Hello, Panzer 4.
I didn't even see him there.
Goodbye.
Wow.
That's how sneaky they were, Khan.
Yeah, okay, come on, dude. You have 60 seconds of life. Get in there. Get in there now.
Yeah. I think he's just waiting for that King Tiger to come over. But of course, this King Tiger takes forever.
Yeah, again, let's look at the tail of the tape here. 38 kilometers an hour. Not anything, man.
Nope.
Yep, and he's kicking it off.
There we go. We got 40 seconds to try and make something happen.
1 kill. Armored car.
Yeah.
Start to engage T-34s down to the south. Oh no, rocket attacks.
Oh,
They all bounce.
didn't do too much. That thick skin doing something. There goes all the T-34s firing array. Tiger coming in as well. The enemy Tiger. The T-6 Tiger.
Mm-hmm. But it's 12-12 now. Could this be a
where
comeback?
The hell? No, it's 13-11. Where's this flag?
It's the one to slope, I think.
Oh,
that's such a shame.
oh, what a...
This game goes 2 more minutes, and that game is completely different.
Yeah, that was clutch, man. Absolutely clutch. KD, pretty, standard K difference for HerrRobert, but fantastic match. Real good way to finish the tournament.
Exactly.
And that means HerrRobert is the victor of the Red Storm 44 dive-in tournament. So congratulations, Mr. Robert.
Now, Abramov over here, the Panther, 4 kills. I mean, one of those was a half track, so 3.25 kills. Bat 37 mil though. Filinkov. I mean, took out a Junkers at the appropriate time. Took out the other Junkers 87. Took out a P4.
Panzer 4. What the?
Oh yeah, he was super close.
What the hell?
He was super close. I think he had him side on. I might be wrong.
Huh? High explosives. Don't mess about with him.
And otherwise, yeah, I mean, on the other side, Greichmann over here, that was the guy down to the south that briefly held up the Soviet advance. But as you might expect, I mean, the early part of that just was all in front of, let's say, well, he couldn't get him locked out.
Yeah, I think it's still a pretty hard map for using like a heavier tank division like 16 Prey. Really are relying on those King Tigers to make things happen. It's so close range, and as you can see, there's many ways you can deal with heavy tanks like that, even if you don't have armor penetration that can deal with them. And Robert's doing a fantastic job of pushing all over the bloody place. He's losing down south, he's pushing up north, he's losing the center, he's pushing down south a bit. He was all over the place and playing the entire map rather than just tunnel vision. And the same thing for Graham. He was also trying to make things happen at north till the very end, but couldn't really get any headway into that forest.
I think it just ended up being about 45 seconds too slow. Those Tigers, if you can get 2 Tigers together, and heck, if you're able to get that P4 command like you had as well, that's a scary amount of veterancy. It's a scary amount of just mechanical ability. Yeah, that's just potentially devastating.
And the planes weren't enough, and Robert didn't really have enough artillery, I think. He had the Katyushas, but I don't think it as reliable and, get an accurate suppressing hit on said tank. So, yeah, it was bloody close, man. Bloody close.
Right, just rather bloody as well, but congratulations to HerrRobert. GrahamSlam coming up just short, maybe it's the triple as opposed to that home run. But man, thrilling couple of replays this week. I will say, guys, if you haven't tried out this mod just yet, please do.
Do it. It's if you do find the base game of SD2 a little bit stale, this completely changes things up. And they also have a Discord as well, really organized match, and I highly recommend joining.
Super friendly guys, super great community. Definitely come check them out. But any final thoughts for today there, sir?
Nope.
All right, well, in that case then, folks, until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.